Hi everybody! So today's video is going to be my update on my Pando's Eyeshadows challenge, and also this is going to be my finale. I know that we still have a month left for the year, but by the time that this update has gone up, hopefully if there's no other problems, I'll be already in the States, and I don't plan on bringing all of the palettes that I have. So doing this Pando's Eyeshadows challenge is not that possible for me because I just want to bring minimal makeup. So I need to do my update now and finish it by November because I'm not bringing any of my Pando's Eyeshadows palettes, all of my palettes, while I'm traveling. Let's first start with the one from Sultry. So again, this was not a part of my official Project Pan palettes. This was not a part of the rotation, but I just wanted to include one of this so that I can also reach more towards my palette. I'm not particularly saving this one, but I didn't include this in the project because this palette is kind of new and I didn't want to pan new palettes because it takes me such a long time to use up eyeshadows. But I decided to pull in fresh in here just for me to have like a setting eyeshadow shade. When I pulled Sultry in, it was so brand new, it didn't even have like brush marks. So now I can see a little bit of dent, and if I still have a month left of usage for this palette, for this project, if I had the time to finish this project for the whole year, I could see myself panning fresh. But again, I'm ending this early, so this is what I have. I have a bit of a dent, a wide dent in fresh, because I am using a fluffy brush always when I'm using fresh, so the dip is quite wide. I'm glad that I pulled fresh in my quintet because more often than not, if I start with fresh, if I'm not using my other Pando's Eyeshadows quintet, I would just reach for my Sultry for a whole look. Like right now, I just use Sultry for my eyeshadow today because I started with fresh and I didn't want to reach for other palettes anymore, so I just finished the whole look with Sultry. So there, that's it for fresh. Not sure if you can see. I hope you can see the dent, but it's here. Yeah, I think you can see it a little bit. And then the next four shadows come from my Anastasia Prism palette. This is now probably the oldest palette in my collection, and it's not even that old. I got it around 2019 and it still works, and it's also the most used palette in my collection now that I have used up or decluttered my other palettes. And also it's also my very colorful palette. It's the only colorful palette that I have, so if I want to play a little bit with my makeup, I would reach for this. And the colors in here are enough to satisfy my makeup playful side. So this is what the palette looks like. When I started this project this year, I already had pans in all of these shades, but my goal, that's why I changed my goal to hitting side pan. Let's first start with Saturn. Saturn has been the most challenging shadow ever since I started doing Pando's eyeshadows and I rolled in Saturn. It was already the most difficult shadow for me because it's just so warm, it's just too orange. There's just one look that I can create with this shade, and it's very warm, and I'm not really into that warm orangey tones anymore, so it's really a challenge for me with Saturn. and I was hoping to hit side pan on this. And probably again, if I had another month left, I could focus more on Saturn, but I didn't have. So I was only able to elongate the pan on the sides. I'm already flattening the shadow here on the side, but I wasn't able to hit side pan. But if you can see from the previous update, the pan size has elongated a little bit to the side, because that's how I have been wearing the shade. I've just taken a brush and then I'll just focus the brush here on the side. That's why the pan has elongated a little bit. And then I also rolled in sphere in here, just so that I can mix sphere with Saturn. And also sphere is the first shade here in this palette that I've ever hit pan on. So I just wanted to also hit side pan on sphere. And again, I've been using sphere together with Saturn just to mix together and create like a lighter transition shade. Or sometimes I'd put sphere heavily all over my lids and then I'd put lucid on. I've just been really loving sphere. Sphere is very powdery, so that's also why it's very easy to pan. But if you go past the kickback that this creates, it creates like very colorful but still editorial look. So I loved sphere, and I was able to hit side pan on this already. So I've at least hit my goal on that one. And then the two shades that I rolled in last update was Sphinx and this black one, Obsidian. Obsidian I've just been wearing mainly here just to color my scalp here. And Obsidian isn't really very pigmented, but for some reason the formula, the powder does not, it's so hard pressed into the pan. So I've used Obsidian almost every day, but you can see from the progress I've widened the pan a little bit, but still very, very, very far. I haven't even flattened the shadow on the side, but at least I made a little bit of progress. And then Sphinx is like a giveaway. I already knew when I had pan on this already, and the pan was close to the side. That's why I decided to just include the shade on my last updates, because I knew that I would hit pan on that one, and I was able to. So there, that's the pan. And even though I already knew that I will hit pan on Sphinx, it still surprised me that I had a hard time panning Sphinx. I knew I will hit side pan, but I thought it would be easier. Because the formula of the metallics here in this palette, here in Prism, it's a bit heavier, it's more emollient. So it's not like the shimmers here in the Sultry, where it's a bit I'm thinking of the word drier, but it's not dry. It just picks up, the brushes just pick up more of the metallics here than this one. This one, they're a bit heavier metallic, so it's better to apply the metallics using the finger. And with the brush, it's better to use something a bit more synthetic. The one that you use for liquids or concealers, the one that's like flat, it picks up way better eyeshadow with those brushes than the usual fluffy brush that you use for metallics. So because of that, the shadow stuck to the side, that I needed to do a look with just using an eyeliner brush, and I focused on getting the shades on the side so that I can hit the side pan completely cleanly. So there, I thought I would be able to hit side pan after 2 uses, but it took me 7 uses before I was able to hit side pan on Sphinx. But that's it. Those are all of my quintet from last time, and that's the end of my project. This project this year has been a little bit of like a whirlwind, because last year, if you've been following me, my palettes didn't have pan. So my Pando's Eyeshadows challenge last year was really interesting because you can see the progress. I was hitting pan left and right. And then by the end of last year, I've hit pan on all of the shades in my palettes that were included in the project. So coming into 2021, I didn't have any palettes to pan anymore to do the traditional Pando's eyeshadows because I already hit pan on them. But I still wanted to continue this project, so I decided to do a 1 month 1 palette. But I didn't do a 1 month 1 palette. I decided to do just like a progress pan where I would choose 5 shadows and then just focus on them, but I didn't have a goal. I didn't have like number of uses goal, so it didn't really work until I tried to change it to just hitting side pan so that I can at least see more progress than just seeing the pan widening a bit. So there, that changed into a side pan, and then that works for me. And because of the challenge, I was able to declutter and use up one palette, the Zoeva Cocoa Blend palette, and I was also able to use up a lot of the pans in my I Think I Love You, so much so that I just decided to make this into a Z palette. And then I was also able to hit side pan on my shades in my Going Coconuts palette, which I have now decluttered because I've already used up the shades that I wanted from the palette. So it was a good round. It was a good round of Pando's eyeshadows this year again, and I'm not sure what I can do next year because I still want to do this like monthly eyeshadow project. But as I mentioned, I don't really like pulling in new eyeshadows because it takes me such a long time. You can take Saturn as an example, and most of my palettes are new. 4 of my palettes right now, the 3 Natasha Denona and the Viseart palette, I just bought them all this year, and then Sultry I bought last year. So they're all kind of brand new, and I kind of want to hit pan on them organically without putting it on in any project. But we will see. I still have a month left to think about my project, and yeah, not sure if you guys have any ideas, if you guys have any suggestions of a monthly project that involves eyeshadows. Let me know, because I still want to continue this like type of eyeshadow project, because otherwise I don't think I would get as much use out of my eyeshadows. Or I might, I don't know, because I already have my curated eyeshadows, so I can reach for any of them anytime. So right now I'm just thinking of doing a 1 month 1 palette, which is similar to what I did before. Because before, when was it? 2019 or 2018? Yeah, I think 2019. 2019, my palettes were all kind of brand new. And again, I don't really wear a lot of eyeshadows for me to do a successful Panda palette. So what I did before was to rotate through all of my eyeshadows by doing a 1 month 1 palette, so that by that time I'm not necessarily trying to pan my shadows, but I'm trying to use them up a little bit, so that because I was planning on 2020 to be a Pando's eyeshadows year. So 2019 was like a preparatory year, so I was using bit by bit my eyeshadows, so that when I went to 2020, it was easier for me to pan my eyeshadows. So I think that's what I'm gonna do again next year. You know, just do a 1 month, 1 palette. But I don't know if you guys have any ideas or if you've heard any other projects, let me know because I want to continue this. But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching and for following this project. And I know that some of you have been following my progress as well because we have like the same pans, we have the same palettes that we're trying to use up. Thank you so much for those, and yeah, thank you so much for your support, and that's it. Thank you guys, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye.